Hey there, this is Katherine Cartwright. Welcome to day 8 of the Diamond Press Advent Calendar. Today I received a set of 3 layered stencils. These have circles on them, and I'm just kind of trimming down my piece of cardstock here that I want to use to stencil on top of these. These are smaller stencils, about 4 inches wide, and so this will work for an A2 size card. But I'm going to just begin by using a little scrap of cardstock that I measured down that would fit these stencils, and then I'm going to just start ink blending on them, and then I'll go from there. So I'm just kind of lining this up, getting the edge on there, and then I'm just going to use some of my mint tape here and add a little bit of tape to make sure that it stays where I want it to stay. I'm going to be using some Distress ink. I've got Worn Lipstick, Kitsch Flamingo, and Festive Berries. And so I'm just going to go one at a time and go ahead and add this on top of my cardstock, and then I will move on to the next layer to kind of build this up. I guess I could have used some stencil paste on the last one. That would have been fun. I didn't think about that until I was recording. So next time I'll have to do that. Okay. So now I'm just going to line up this next one where I think it kind of needs to go. And then I'm just going to mask this off. This tape's a little skinny. I probably should have had a little wider tape, but I'm going to have to trim this down anyway to fit my card front. So I should be okay. I'm going to move on here to using Worn Lipstick. Using my Distress, and I think I just re-inked these, so these are nice and juicy. It's not been too long. My ink pad looks very colorful, which is great. All right, so I've got that one done, and now I can move on to my third one. And I discovered that you can see a little bit in the bottom right hand corner that the 2 little pieces of the stencil just needed to be popped out. It was cut, but it just was kind of hanging on. So I'm going to kind of be like, well, what's going on with this? Because for some reason I thought, well, what's happened? It's not working quite right. But I realized that there was just a little bit from the cutting process that I needed to pop out. So once I got that out, everything was working a-okay. So just keep that in mind. If you get these, you may have to just pop out a tiny little bit, possibly in yours, but it stenciled beautifully after I did that. Okay, so I'm just adding the Festive Berries here on, and this is where I'm kind of like, wait, something's not quite right. So I'm looking back and I can see that I thought I'd have to use a different little tool here, and I should have picked it up and really examined it, but I didn't have on my glasses. So I was just kind of eyeballing that. I could tell that it wasn't going through. So there we go. Aha! I figured out that there was just a little bit of scrap stencil in there. And now I can see it, and I am back in business. All right, so let me finish up this last little piece of these beautiful circle stencils. Okay, and they have, each one is layered. It says layered stencil circles 1, 2, and 3. So you've got a fun kind of graphic card front here piece that you could do, and you could repeat this process if you wanted to create a background, but I just wanted to keep mine intact. And I'm pulling out another sheet of the mega stamps that I received, and I'm going to use some of these sentiments. I love this sheet because it has a couple of different fonts that you can pair together. And so I'm doing Hello, You Are Amazing, and I've cut this down to, I think this was 3.5 by 5. So I started with a little bit smaller card front, and then I'm going to build that up with some layers. I'm just using some bright pink cardstock on this lighter pink cardstock, and I'm just going to stamp this kind of in the middle, or I'm going to leave space, I should say, in the middle for my stenciled piece. Okay, so once I finish with that, now I can move on. Just going to wipe this down so I don't get any smudges anywhere. Trying to clean as I go and do that a little bit better because I'm not very good at that. All right, now I'm going to layer this onto some bright pink cardstock, but first I need to just glue this down, and I'm going to glue kind of to the edges, but I know I'm going to have to trim some of this off, so I'll have to let that dry just a little bit. I'm going to try and use my grid mat here to give me a little bit of a reference, hopefully, to make this straight. And then I will let that dry for just a second before I start cutting that with some non-stick scissors. That way I can get the glue off if any is still on. So I'm just going to run this really tight next to the card to make this fit. All right. And there is the front. So much fun with those beautiful, beautiful circles. Okay, so very modern. I love that. And I'm going to add this to my pink cardstock now, and then I can finish layering this together. And again, adding another card to my stash with this advent calendar, because this is not about the holidays. This is about all occasion, really, and things that you could use throughout the year in this year's advent calendar. And I still have some of my stuff from last year's advent calendar that I haven't used. So that is why I'm making myself record a video every day, because I was determined to use every piece of it, and then I will store it in a bag for the year. And I did that last year, and I haven't used everything, but I did use a bunch of stuff. I think there was a coffee cup in that one and some other fun dies. There were some acrylic markers in there. It was really awesome. And this one is just as good. Okay, so hello, you are amazing. We're about to wrap this up, and I have some more of those gemstones, and I definitely want to use the hearts because I think those would work well with my color scheme as well as the shape on this card. So I'm going to put a hello with a little heart up there, and then I'm going to add a few more to the bottom of my card. So I'm going to use my trio of 3, but a little bit different in that they are going to be kind of more surrounding the sentiment. All right, so hello, you are amazing. And that will be it for today's card. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have opened your advent calendar yet. And if you have, what is your favorite day so far? All right, thanks so much for watching. Be sure and check back tomorrow and have a great day.